Hey, in this video I will give you a full guide on how to edit a music video from start to finish. We will go over how to organize your footage, how to sync the files, cutting clips, selecting the best clips, adding effects, transitions, and even color grading. I will also show you a secret way on how to go from editing a music video in a few hours to editing in only a few minutes. And I'm not even joking, just stick around and enjoy. If you ever did music video editing, you know that the first step is to actually organize the footage. You know when the director sends you over the clips, or even when you record them yourself, you just have a bunch of unlabeled clips, and you know that for music video editing we actually need to split them into performance and B-roll shots, because we are only using the performance shots for creating the first cut. That's how I always did it, and so every other music video editor do it the same way. So let's do that first. We are in Premiere, and here in the project bin I'll just double click here to pop up this menu, or you can click on import media. In here, as you can see, I have a bunch of clips. I will just select the first one, hold shift, and click on the last one to select them all. I will import them. And now the next thing, I will double click here again to import the song. Okay, now the way I organize these files is first I go to this thing here, make sure that you are on icon view first. Then click here and go to label. So this way the footage will actually be sorted by its name. So C01 will be the first, and C33 will be the last. This way it will be easier for you to organize everything. Now the next thing we need to do is create two bins. So click here, we got the first one created. You can just double click here and write performance. In here we will put our performance shots. Now we can start watching every video to see if it's a performance or a B-roll. The way to do this is just double click, it will get opened in this source monitor. If you don't see it, you can just go to window and find it here, source monitor. Now that we have the video ready here, you can play a certain part of it to see if the artist is actually performing in the clip and if the music is playing in the background. So let's see this example. As you can see, this is a performance clip, and you can also tell by duration because it's 3 minutes long and the song is also similar length. We saw that the artist is actually performing, we heard the song in the background, we can count this as a performance shot. Let's place it here, let's go to the next. Same thing here, this is a performance shot. Okay, this is a B-roll clip. How do we know that? Because the song isn't playing in the background, and you can see how short it is. Of course, there are B-rolls that will be 3 minutes long, even 10 minutes long, so don't take duration as your only parameter to realize if it's a performance or a B-roll clip. You can rely mostly on just hearing if the song is playing and if the artist is performing. If the artist is not performing, you can count that as a B-roll. So we will skip this and we will know it's a B-roll clip. Let's go to the next. Same thing here, this is a B-roll clip. I will now speed up this process so you don't have to watch every single thing, but now you know how to identify a performance and how to identify a B-roll clip. Also, through this process, if you find any shots that you really don't like you know that you won't use them, you should delete them so they don't take up space. For example, this shot. I think I won't use it because it doesn't look nice and I don't see how it can be useful, so I'll just delete this one. Okay, so now I went through all of the clips. We have a performance bin with 9 clips, so all of these clips are performance ones. Now everything that is left here are B-roll clips. The next thing we need to do is actually create a B-roll folder, and now we can take all of these clips that are left here, just select them the same way. So basically select the first clip, hold shift and select the last one. This will select all of the clips and just place them here in the B-roll. Now we have 9 performance clips and 19 B-roll clips. Another thing I like to do on top of the B-roll split is I like to create 2 new bins, one called slow-mo, one called regular. In the slow-mo one, I put all of the clips that are either 60 FPS or above it. So that way when I'm adding B-roll later in the video, I know exactly where to look for. So in the B-roll folder you can create another bin called slow-mo, like this, and let's create another one called regular. So basically we are done with the organization. We have all of the performance clips here in this bin. In the B-roll bin we have all of the B-roll clips, and we even have them split by FPS, so you can later easily look for exactly what you want. We can leave the song here. Now the next thing we need to do is actually import the song. I'll just import the song here, this will create the sequence, and now I will import the performance clips one by one. I will first import the C1 and the last one will be C24. Make sure that when you're importing the first track, you don't put it on the V1 because it will overlap with the song. So make sure to place it on the V2 and A2 tracks. Now we can continue with the rest. Okay, now we have everything imported in the timeline and we are ready for the step 2, which is cutting. And I can already tell that this is a zoomed in clip, and if you want to change the sequence settings, you can just go here on top, go to sequence settings and change it to any resolution you want. I will do 4K in this case. You can just write in the numbers, this is 4K. If you want full HD, that was 1920 by 1080. You can find that info online. and let's click OK. And you can quickly check if you have any clips that aren't 4K resolution, so you can scale them up. Okay, we have this one. You can just right click on it and go to fit to frame. It will get scaled up so everything matches. Okay, same thing here. Okay, let's see, we have multiple of them. So these 3 clips, we can select them and go to fit to frame. Let's see if we have any more. Basically this toggle is hiding the video from the track. Let's fit this to frame too. Same thing here, and let's see the last one. Okay, so only this one left. Perfect, now we have all of the clips scaled up. Since this is a music video, we need to actually sync our performance takes to the song. So Command A or Control A to select all of the clips and the song. Right click on any of the clips, go to synchronize, and here you can select mix down, and I'll click OK. And as you can see, it's super fast, everything got synced. Now I can just move to the start of the song, because as you can see, everything got a bit moved, because some clips have extra footage until the song starts. So I'll just move this to the start here. Now I can select all of the clips, click on C to pull out the razor tool, and I'll hold shift so all of the tracks get cut. And now I can just select these parts that are not needed, select them. Now again, Control A, move everything to the start of the timer. Now we are completely ready to start with cutting. So this whole organization process took me like 20 minutes. If you want to see how you can do it in 20 seconds, keep watching. For editing music videos, I normally use this MVX plugin. It's a plugin I built and I worked on it for 12 months. So let me show you how it works. I will import the song here. So I'm using the same example as we did with the manual, and I'll select all of the clips. Now I just have to click organize, and I will also turn on this option and you will see what happens. Now MVX is analyzing the audio and processing the clip, so it separates everything into performance and B-roll shot. Automatically, we don't have to do anything. This is all in real time, so it took like 15 seconds to do. And as you can see, we have the performance clips sorted. B-roll. Okay, MVX found what we didn't, so we actually have one clip that is not 120 FPS. So it put it in the regular, slow-mo, we have 19 clips. And now we can sync the clips to the song. I will click here so it selects everything, and I'll do the same thing as with manual. I'll select mix down and click OK. Now instead of manually cutting the clips and moving them to the start, I can just click snap and it moves everything to the start of the timeline. Of course you can do this manually, I just show you how you can do it in 20 seconds instead of 20 minutes. I normally don't start from the actual start of the timeline, because in most cases the artist actually starts performing at like 20th second of the song. And I like starting from that part because the first part where there's only music, I like to fill that with B-roll. Let's see in this song where the song actually starts. Okay, so in this case it's the 20th second, and we can start from this point. I'll just zoom in this a bit. And if you want to scroll through the timeline horizontal, you can just hold shift on your keyboard and scroll. Now let's see if we have any good parts. I'll do a quick cut here and we'll delete this part so we can start from this. And you can basically just watch this until you get to a point that you like. In this case, I like this. So I like this part here from this point. I will pull up the cut here, delete this. I know that I don't need that part. Okay, so I like this until here. Okay, I will cut it here. Let's see what we have next. Okay, this is fine. Let's move it back. Okay, I like it from here. I will do a cut again. We'll delete this part. Okay, I will cut it here. I don't like this part that comes next. This is cool. I will cut it here. We'll delete this. Okay, I will cut it here again. As you can see, we are only keeping the clips we actually like. Let's repeat what we have. Let's just hide these. You can select all of these and just right click and disable them. And basically the point of working like this is this way we will only keep the best clips. We will go through each track and only keep the best ones. And in the end, when we are done with this, we will have 10 tracks that are filled only with the best clips. And that will give us a really good point where we can expand with B-roll, add effect transitions on top of that. So I'll speed up this whole thing so you don't have to watch everything because it will take really long. Okay, finally I have the whole thing done. I will again select everything, right click and go to unlink. Now you can delete all of the audio clips, just click delete, and you can right click here on one of the audio tracks, go to delete tracks, and in here select delete other tracks, all empty. Okay, and this will delete all of them, which will make everything cleaner. And you can now move this to the bottom. Basically, the next thing, now that you only have the best shots, is to pick from the shots that are overlapping. So as you can see here in this start area, I have 4 different options that we can pick from. So basically what you need to do is just go through each of the options, see which one of them is really the best of the best, and pick that one. So let me show you an example. Okay, I will hide this one. Let's see the next one. So I like the first one the most. I will keep it here on the top. Let's continue with the other example. Okay, let's see the next thing. Okay, I like this one the most, the third one. So I will just cut it on beat. You can cut by beat by just looking at the waveform. So where you see like really a peak in the waveform, you can cut it here. Or you can cut it if you think it makes sense by what the artist is doing in the scene. I will just move it exactly here. And I will click C and we'll cut here. I will now move this to the top. And as you can see, we are getting the best scenes for each cut. Now I will continue to do this throughout the whole thing. Of course I will skip this so we don't waste time, and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I picked the best shots for each option. As you can see, I placed them in the top track. This is the only place where I left an empty space because I couldn't find a good enough clip. To make this even clearer that this is the top track we'll be using, you can select all of these clips from the top track, right click, go to label, and I like to select this rose color. So this way we know these are the performance shots. Also another thing we can do is we can just go to our project here. You can right click on the project, go to duplicate, and we can name this clean and open this. So this is the clean sequence. Delete all of these options. Just move this to the bottom. Let's put it in the V2 track. We can also delete the empty audio tracks same way as we did with audio ones. Just select any of the tracks, put right click, delete tracks, delete video, all empty tracks. Okay. And now we have a super clean sequence. Basically we only have the best shots, we have everything synced, and we only have the song. So that's all. Normally cutting the clips and picking the best one takes me like 2 to 4 hours. That's why I made MVX do it for you in a few minutes instead of a few hours. I will select how to cut all clips to the beat, so it analyzes the song and cuts everything to beat. I will select this option so it creates the first rough cut for me. Basically it will pick the shots for me and place them in the top track in the timeline. And I will also turn this on so we can review later what MVX did. I will just click on start here. So as you can see, MVX added markers to every hit in the beat, and now it's cutting the clips and selecting them. And as you can see, this is in real time. So basically, as I said, instead of taking a few hours, now it takes only a few minutes. It's been like 30 seconds and we are already halfway done. So instead of watching everything in the timeline, I can just double click here on MVX and it will open a full screen player for me. In here you can go through different options. So this way you don't have to enable, disable each track and go one by one. You can just quickly see every option you have for each cut. Watch them, you can watch them and pick the ones you like. Let's say I like this one, I can just click accept here and it will transfer us to the next cut so we can pick the best option for this cut. The clip with the blue border is the one MVX picked. If you don't like what MVX picked, you can pick any other option and just click on accept here. If you don't like any of the options you have, you can just click on X here and that will leave a blank space in the timeline so you know that you didn't like anything there, and then you can just fill that with B-roll. If you want to go back, you can go preview. If you want to go to the next cut, if you like what MVX picked for you, and I like this, you can just go next. This way, as you can see how quickly we can go through all of the cuts. And when you are done reviewing what MVX did and picking the best shots, of course you don't have to go through each cut, this is optional, you can just click on finalize cut. As you can see, instead of us manually deleting everything, we basically got the finalize cut. Now you can do the same thing, just go to label, rows, and you got the same thing in a few minutes instead of a few hours, as I said. Now on top of this you can add b-rolls. Now as you can see we have two empty spaces. We have I left the first 15 seconds so I can fill them with b-roll, and this is one empty place where we can put some other b-roll. How to pick the best b-rolls can't be exactly explained because every video is different. What I would advise you is to always introduce stuff that will be shown later in the video. So basically if you saw the location that's used in this video, we want to introduce the first thing that will appear so the viewers can actually know what to expect. So we can start with introducing the actual location. Let's start with stuff like this. So maybe this can be cool. Let's see what part is good. Okay, this might be cool. So to select only the part you want, not the whole clip. Where you want the clip to end, you can click O on your keyboard and this will set the out point and move it to where you want it to start. and click I on your keyboard, and this will create an in point. And now you can just drag from here, so only the video gets dragged. And we need to scale this because it's not the same size as sequence, so right click, go fit to frame. To check which FPS your sequence is using, you can go to sequence and go to sequence settings. You can always change this, so in this case it's 25 frames, you can do 24. I would always advise you to go with 24 or 30 with music videos. So I will just change this to 24 here. So let's slow this down to 50%. So let's play this now. Okay, this needs to be stabilized a bit. As you can see, it's smooth, but it can be even better. If you're using a stabilizer effect on a Premiere Pro clip that has speed adjustments like this, you first need to nest it. So right click on this, go to nest, and just click OK. So now we can go to warp stabilizer, click here, and this will make our video a lot smoother. Let's see what happens now. And as you can see, now it's perfectly smooth. So you can't use this on extremely shaky footage, but for stuff like this that just has some bounce, this can work wonders, as we saw. And you can just cut it on beat. Let's hear the song. Okay, let's cut it here, so it's on beat. And now let's do another shot. Maybe we can do one more shot where we are showing the location, and then we can start introducing the people that will actually show up in the video. Maybe this can be cool, like showing the stairs and all. Okay, let's set the in point, so I on my keyboard and O to stop here. Let's drag the video only, right click, fit to frame. Let's set the speed to 50%. Let's nest the clip. So if your clip doesn't have speed adjustment, you don't have to nest it before applying warp stabilizer. I'm only nesting it because it has a speed adjustment. Now let's go to effects and just apply this again here. And let's see what result we get. So basically this is how I normally add b-roll. Same thing would be here, adding it in between performance shots. So anything that would enhance the story of the music video, give more context to the actual viewer, so it's not only performance clips. Let's see this example. You can also match it to the text, like listen to what the artist is saying, so it makes more sense on what you put as b-roll. Let's do this example here. Let's place this. Let's slow it down a bit. Of course, you don't always have to slow it down. I just think it looks cool in this case. And let's just fit the frame. As you can see, it adds more to the whole story of the music video. I'll cut it here. Yeah, so that's basically my thought process when adding b-rolls. Now I'll show you some of the transitions I use. So if I'm doing a video where there's no custom transitions, I'm just doing a project that's more simpler, like this one. I will mostly use transitions that are like flash transitions, blur, and that's all. I won't overcomplicate it because I still want it to look clean. I will give you an example of that. So I create an adjustment layer here, make sure it's the same size as your sequence, and I just drag and drop it here. I will take like 10 frames length. To actually measure 10 frames, go to the start of the adjustment layer, hold shift, and here in this scrubber, just move once. This will be 5 frames, and second scroll will be 10 frames. I will cut it here, and I will place it in between two clips I want to transition between. Let's see how this looks without the transition. As you can see, it's really bland, so I can go to effects here. Premiere has some built-in transitions, but I wouldn't use them, like they are too simple to make it actually look good. I will just do brightness and contrast, like this. And we apply it here on the adjustment layer. You can keyframe the brightness and contrast. So basically keyframing is basically dynamically changing the values of the effect. So let me give you an example. In the center point where the clips are actually changing, I will make it the strongest. I will really raise the brightness and I will raise the contrast. Let's go really high, something like this. And the start of the clip where the clips aren't overlapping yet, I can just reset parameters so it goes back to normal. And in the end of the adjustment layer, I can also go back to the same thing. I can just reset it. And now I will select all of these keyframes, right click on them and go easy in. So this will make them super smooth. So let's see the transition we get. As you can see, it's already looking a lot better and it's always clean. Like, and even if you do like more expensive music video, this always looks cool. And you can use it multiple times. Like if you want to just copy this, you can click Ctrl C and Ctrl V and just place this over the next overlapping clips. Let's see here. So just place it in the middle and let's play this again. Let's first hide it to see how it looks without it. How it looks when we have it. You can see it always looks good. Another transition that I use often is just copy this so I can show it again. I will copy this here and I will remove the brightness and contrast. I use Gaussian blur often. Let's do Gaussian blur and let's go to effect controls. Basically at the same point, so where the clips are overlapping, go to blurriness, start the keyframe, move it a lot to like 40, then move it to the start of the adjustment layer, reset, move it to the end of the adjustment layer, reset again, select the keyframes and go easy in. Okay, we need to increase the intensity by a lot. This is fine. And when we combine this with brightness and contrast, it can look even better. So let's just copy this and paste it. And you can copy this like infinite number of times. You can do the same thing here on this next example. Let's see how it will look. Maybe don't overdo it, like only do it on more significant parts where the beat is hitting or something like that. Okay, this is a good example. Now, if you want to add more complex stuff, you will need to do that in After Effects. And now I will show you how you can transfer your clips to After Effects the easiest way. Adobe really made this easy. So you need to have After Effects installed, of course. Right click on any clip you want to adjust and go to replace with After Effects composition. And this will open After Effects for us. We can just save the After Effects project file. Let's do untitled for this example. As you can see, we already have everything imported. And now we can do in here more complex stuff. I won't go over it because there's so many tutorials on YouTube and this video would be too long. Basically any more complex stuff like rotoscoping or anything like that. And as you can see, After Effects has a lot more options than Premiere and it's built for actually doing effects. So this is the easiest way to go about this. So any change you do here, let me just give a simple example. Let's do mosaic. Okay, this is super simple, but I just want to show you how it works. So let's take this, and if we go to Premiere, we'll actually have this effect applied, which is super useful. And basically every change you do here will be immediately shown in Premiere. And this is the easiest way to go about this. You can just save it when you're done and you can continue editing in Premiere. I'll close this for now and I will unlink this comp because we don't need it. And now we have our normal clip back again. Now it's the part where we do color grading. As you can see, this looks really bland, which means that it was shot in log. What I normally do in this case, I apply an adjustment layer over everything in my timeline. I make it the length of the whole sequence like this. And then first I go to effects, apply a Lumetri color effect. If you know what camera was used to shoot the music video, if you don't know, you can ask the director, or if you shot it yourself, you should know that. So in this case, Sony was used, so I can use a Sony S-Log to Rec 709 LUT. Let me show you how it will look when I apply that. Okay, here I have some LUTs, as you can see, and I will apply the Sony one. I click open, and as you can see, it looks so much better now. Of course, I need to do some adjustments, but basically I would always advise you to first convert from log to Rec 709, if it was shot in log. If it wasn't, then just do some basic adjustments that we will show now. In this case, I will just make the saturation a bit lower. I will raise the contrast, and maybe we'll raise the shadows a bit. What I found is a cool way to adjust the white balance is before you do any adjustments to the temperature, just click on this icon here and select anything that's pure white in your video. And this will set the temperature by itself. Now we can play with some other stuff. You can always go to curves and create an S-curve. That's basically creating contrast, and it always makes everything look good and it makes the whole thing pop. Just don't overdo it. I think this is fine. Basically this top part is the highlights, this is the shadows, and this is the midtones in the middle. In the creative you can apply any looks. This is basically all from Adobe. I always go with CineSpace. This looks too much for now, but you can lower it to like 15 or something. And I'll show you the result before and after. As you can see how bland it actually looks, but we got used to it. Now when you see it with the proper coloring, you see how different it looks. And now let me play a part where the transitions are and the color grading to see how it looks.
Down, no, I made it, was my wrist looking bust down. Niggas used to hit, but their bums now grinding in the morning all the way to the sun down. This time I my gym, touch my tail and you turn to snow. Analyzing orders, watching Budley Spartan go. Fucking on the fuck, then forgot to come back to notes. Has this like wanna tap me cause she heard my tunes. She can't compare me to her ex cause she's a fucking dude. It's how I get no.
As you can see, I think it looks super cool. So we went from having only raw footage, organizing it, cutting the clips, selecting the best clips, adding effects, adding transitions, and color grading. So basically in this video we covered everything from start to finish, and I hope this can help you.